Good afternoon, everyone. Actually, I just noticed that talking about AI means talking about animals. Yeah. So this morning we learned about the blue lion, the blue swan. Then we just learned about chicken and eggs, and now I'm introducing you to the AI-lephant. And actually, this community, the DLD community, has a natural appetite for AI. You're embracing it. But in my conversations with business, with companies, with clients, I notice that it is not yet a love relationship. So we need to explore the human aspects about AI. As Steffi just said, what motivates them and what prevents them to embrace the magic of AI. So it is a trust, it is a culture, it is an experience momentum we need to explore. And I mean, this community is the best example, and every conference talks about AI. Everyone. The C-level is full of discussions of AI. In the kitchen, we are talking about AI with the employees. But talking about AI is one thing. When I talk to clients, it's obvious that AI is already somehow implemented in the corporate infrastructure. So it is there, it is in their mindset, but when you really deep dive in the soul of a company, I observe that it's not yet part of the trust set, so to call. And we want to explore in the following messages and in the conversation with Europa, what are the reasons for that? Yeah, so why people still are experiencing a bit of a change resistance, why there is still a kind of a lack of trust when you are working or when you are experiencing AI. And as well, from a communication point of view, let's say, we could improve. And as a communicator and as a trust maker, let's say, that is, of course, then our job to be done to help AI and to help companies and leaders and the communities, let's say, to communicate the usage of AI in a better way. Let me start, let's say, a bit general. Why are companies in general are successful? Keep in mind there are 4 Qs that makes a company successful. There's IQ, EQ, TQ, and BQ. IQ obviously is the intellectual quotient, let's say the rational side, the business case, what you produce, what is your service, what are your functional benefits. EQ is the emotional quotient, so how empathetic you are, how, let's say, how you are appreciating, how you are caring about your employees, but as well your consumers and your customers. TQ is the technical quotient, the hardware, the software, the digitalization, and of course AI is part of the TQ bucket. And then there's the BQ, which means you need to be bloody quick. Yeah, so let's say don't just let's say wait until you implement things. Let's say it's about speed. It's about implementing things. And let's say I found out that AI in general contributes on 3 of these Qs. Obviously, it's very smart, so it serves on the IQ. Obviously, because it's part of the software, part of the digital infrastructure, it serves on TQ, and absolutely, it is massively bloody quick. So what it lacks is a bit the emotional quotient, the empathy. But empathy and the emotional driver behind is needed to make people embracing this topic. Yeah, so it's not about you. You are really, let's say, living AI. But let's say you are. What are the next generation? The broad majority of employees who should use AI. And humans are powered by emotions. Yeah, so that is, let's say, there's this process. You get the external stimulus. You see, you hear something. Then automatically, and we heard that in the morning, system one, this intuitive, emotional processing, where you think, I like you, I don't like you, I follow you, I don't follow you. That takes action within seconds. And then afterwards, system two just starts to think and post-rationalize your emotional decision, and then the action comes. And just listen to the news and let's say what kind of emotions, let's say the implementation of AI in companies are caused. Actually, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of fear. So the first moment of emotions are not necessarily positive. Yeah, because it's we are talking a lot about efficiency, and therefore the human being asks themselves, "Oh my gosh, what does it mean to me?" Yeah, so humans and change, that is really nothing that is a smooth love relationship. And on this one, I'm really looking forward to ask Europa from a behavioral science perspective, why is this the case? So we need to change behavior before we are adapting and we are implementing AI. And of course, let's say we need emotions to build trust. And to build trust, we need emotions. Yeah. So we at Edelman, so let's say our Northern Star is building trust, and there are 5 components, 5 dimensions that makes you a trustworthy brand or a trustworthy party on audience. It's the ability, so the functional component of it. It's the dependability, be reliable on it. Are you does it drive integrity, how honest you are, then how relevant you are to me, to my personal life, and how purposeful are you? So are you serving a higher need, or do you just want to make business? And obviously, AI builds on ability, tick in a box. But when talking to people, let's say, they have concerns. Can I really rely on it? Is it really, what does it mean from a work ethic point of view? So what a higher need, how does the world look like when AI really is implemented? And very importantly, let's say, what does it mean to my life? So from a pure personal relevance point of view. And this is where communication may play an important role. And AI needs to consider 2, let's say, truths or 2 general truths about communication that, in my opinion, let's say, we all could do better. The first truth is communication is not what is sent, it is what is perceived. And that is, let's say, listening as well today and as well to all the conferences I'm attending. Let's say we are talking everything from an AI sender perspective. I'm the best, I'm changing the world, that's AI is the superpower. Yeah, so AI just is very egocentric, so to say. What it's lacking is, what does it mean to the recipient? Yeah, so and brands and companies always love to talk about themselves rather than talking about the audience. Yeah, and we need to embed the audience, the user, into the benefit story of AI. First, learning. Second, communication truth is conversations happen when they spark interest. So just imagine you're entering a party or a bar, and then you will meet someone. And then what sparks a conversation when your opponent, let's say, you just find each other interesting. You find a common goal. It's a sharing. It's ideating. It's modulating. You are able to listen. So if your opponent just talks about him or herself, that, hey, I'm the best, follow me, then you will find reasons to stop that conversation. You will say, oh, my glass is empty, I need to go to the bar. Oh, there's someone, I need to say hello, or I need to powder my nose. Conversation is stopped. Yeah. So, and that is sometimes, let's say, we are not making a AI narrative from a conversational point of view, but more from a top-down point of view. Yeah, because we think AI is so super interesting that it's enough that just AI talks. But that isn't creating a conversation. And that leads to my conversation with Europa. Please join me on stage. A very warm welcome, applause. As I said, Europa is for me really the leading cultural and behavioral change trend researcher, scientist, communicator I know. And we talked a lot about change, about trust, about communication, and now we want to zoom in into these perspectives. So please take a seat.
Thanks so much. Yes. Well, I'm absolutely thrilled to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. I think I want to start that I'm grateful that I think the human-centered insights get a voice, the behavioral scientists get a voice as well. I don't know much about AI from the technological perspective. I'm not even a scientist that is concerned with AI. I'm really all about human beings and change. So that's the lens I will have now. And I am not from Bavaria. I am a newbie in DLD, but even though I'm maybe from the out-group, and I'm from northern Germany, Jesus Christ, I still want to say one thing connects all of us, the ones that are enthusiastic about AI and the ones that are super skeptical, all in one boat. We're human beings that follow certain behavioral rules. And I want to share that, and I want to share it in a spirit where we all acknowledge that we are not talking about them. We are talking about ourselves as well. So I'm taking you into the equation now, even though you're the ones that love it and want it and are future positive, and there might be some that aren't. I am taking the lens of there are a couple of things that we are all similar with. And with regards to the question that Niels was asking, the one thing that we are all the same in is that we are always overestimating the status quo, and we are fearing to lose what we have, and we are underestimating the wins that we cannot really grasp. So, and we are all the same, even though you're the ones that really see the potential in AI. But if I take a different area of your life where you're not as knowledgeable, where you're not as future literate, you would be the same. So let's first embrace the people out there that we sometimes hate and that frustrate us and that make life difficult, and say, well, first of all, that's something where we are all similar. We all find it very difficult sometimes to project what things bring, and then we're hesitant to change our life because there are things at stake. We might lose certain things that are dear to us. We might lose values that are dear to us. We might lose, and that's maybe the key word that I will use again and again, the feeling of self-efficacy. That's maybe the core word. If you go out to get a Coke now, memorize self-efficacy. If you feel self-efficient, you are driving all of this. But of course, if we give people the feeling that their jobs are at stake and a lot more, and we are talking about AI enthusiastically, and the subtext is you're not in the boat, you have no self-efficacy here, and we are ruling the game, then we shouldn't worry. I mean, we shouldn't wonder. It's clear that this happens. So I will end my first speech with the C in the room is not China. The C in the room is culture. And that's the thing we need to really talk about. And I'm so thankful for the invitation, Steffi. Thanks so much that I get the word.
Talking about culture and talking about the culture of change. Why humans in general, not just AI specific, are so hesitant about change. Yeah, so having in mind this emotional roller coaster. So why it always starts with oops, what is that? It's frustrating. It's shocking me, and then just over the time it may grow. So why?
Well, it helped us. It helped us in our evolution. But there's the behavioral science knows the convention bias. You probably have heard about that. That's what I described earlier. That we are sticking to what we know because things are at stake. And we in Germany, we also have a strong, and the future positivity really helps. We have a strong negativity bias. We hear the negative news much more, and they are stored in our memory much more. Not only in Germany, people have that in general, but that's a big issue here. That's why we are incredibly risk averse. And that's why it does make a difference that we have the future positivity movement here. We have just done a Made in Germany study where we found that more people would rather live in the past than in the future. And that's sad enough, but what's even more sad is that the younger people under 30 were at the highest stake here. So what's really new is when I was young, it was like, yeah, but the old ones will die away, and then the world is ours. So yeah. But now people say, well, but back then in the 90s, fashion was better, music was better, and we had more freedom, and we didn't have to worry about all these things. So I think the big issue that we also need to really be aware of is AI was never the problem. Culture was the problem. AI is just a tool, but people have no solutions to all these issues out there that they either think that AI has to solve everything and are disappointed constantly, even though this is completely new, only because the future visions in Germany and everywhere are not there, and leadership cannot create a future culture vision. So everybody jumps on every technology that's out there and overwhelms people that are, that are trying to get this out, overwhelming them with topics that have to do with our culture, ethics, philosophy. How do we want to live together in future? How do we want to communicate? All of this is on your shoulders now, and that's of course very unfair. But that is the reason why people have so many different opinions on AI.
Hearing many barriers to overcome, but let's say we are a community of solutions. We are future optimists. So, what kind of components do we need in our positive change narrative to make people listen, to make people embrace, and to see it as something positive rather than something fearful? So what are the positive
That's a great question. Allow me to say there are only 4 ways how you can change behavior, and it's very difficult to do that. And 2 of them we don't want. You already framed it. We want to do it in a positive way. There are 2 negative ways. You can install fear and say and I heard some narratives here that say if you don't jump on, you're like dead. So fear is, I don't advise fear. The other one is force. That's what China does, and it's very, very efficient when it's only about behavior change. If this is what you want, force works. You force people because you say, you can't fly, or you fly and pay 5,000 euro. True for everybody, we're China, or whatever you say. So force works, but it's not democratic. So these 2 are out, and what's left is what we are talking about here. Is you need someone with a strong vision that is able to translate that down to the individual. So if you are a corporate leader, or if you are managing a country or Bavaria or whatever, you can say, this is the future, this is really great. And we hear this a lot, messiahs, this is perfect, this is the world. If you don't get it, I can't help you. That's unfortunately never enough to get the people on board, because they have very specific issues with that. They are not just hesitant because they are boring, dumb people. They have issues, they have specific things. They feel that you are de-skilling them. They feel their job is being lost and so on. So the first one is give them a tangible vision that is credible. Don't tell them, yeah, AI is going to save the world, and they feel you are going to increase the efficiency and let them go. Because actually your agenda is 20%. down the, everywhere. So if this is your secret agenda, they will smell it. So the first thing is be authentic and create a picture of the future that is tangible. And then the second one, even more importantly, is nudging them into this future. And nudging is a very important word in behavioral science. It's, you said it already, small steps. You are creating safe spaces where people can try things out. I just heard a very interesting speech of a behavioral scientist that said the best advice he can give, and he does, like AI, does that since 10 years. He says the best thing that he knows is 10 hours of working with AI, straight. Not much. It's just like this sandbox for everyone. You just, try it out, do whatever, fail-proof. You can do whatever you do, whatever you like, and you will understand what works, what doesn't work, and you will come back with much more knowledge. So create safe spaces. And then what we should not forget, and I heard that a lot, so there's a kind of a fear of loneliness involved with AI. And when I hear big leaders saying, postgraduates will have a team of agents working, and this is a future vision. It's a strong one, and it's very tech-driven. So of course you want young people to be in contact with others and with AI. So you need to create multifunctional teams, including AI, so that you can nudge people into understanding that and giving them the chance to have peers. So if I don't get it, I can ask Niels. He will tell me. Or someone who's not a boss, someone that is close to me, and that feels much easier. So make it a culture of sharing and of making things easier and creating small steps based on a more strategic vision of where we want to go. I heard Günther in the very beginning, and he said there's a lack of leadership, and I totally agree that if the leaders are not future literate and don't understand what this will mean for their company, then nobody will follow in corporations. They will think, okay, I know his agenda. He's going to decrease our jobs, and it's just about efficiency. If I can make that happen slower, I will. So we need to be clear on what we want to achieve here. So these two are the main things. Nudge them, give them a tangible vision.
Great. 1 minute to go. Very last question, just to add another C, and I know that Steffi's most favorite C, because it's curiosity. Yeah, so that is really what we need to spark. So yes, we might gain curiosity if we just spend 10 hours with them. So from a senior leadership perspective, how can we support curiosity to our environment, to our working environment, curiosity? What are the nudges help us that we can do tomorrow?
Back to who we are, human beings. I heard a lot of this. If you're very honest, we are, of course, selfish. So give them the chance to improve something that is dear to them. So if you want to make them work on something, it should mean something to them, not to you. Back to your point, of course. So if you want to create curiosity, it should be about something that is interesting to them, a topic that they were asking themselves about. And what's really interesting when it comes to self-efficacy, there were tests with children where they said there's a research assistant with a child. And in one setup, the child was having an idea, and the research assistant was, executing the idea. And the other setting, the research assistant told the child what would be cool, and the child drew the picture. And later the research assistant took the picture and went to the parents and said, look what I did. What do you think, where was the protest of the child the biggest? When they executed or when they had the idea? The protest was huge when they had the idea. When they had the idea, not when they executed. So the role that AI can play, where everybody's happy, is if they help you execute your ideas. The problem in Germany is that we have not taught our employees ideas, curiosity. They were efficiency-driven for so many years. If you worked in a German corporation, that's how we trained them. Now we need to reframe our cultures towards curiosity, away from the German just efficiency, because AI is much better at that. You don't want human beings to interfere with that. So that's the big change. And I say it again, we had the culture change even before AI, and we had the problem that leadership is not able to define a future promising and preferable human-centered culture, and AI has only accelerated this problem. and not caused it. So we need to get back to these human traits, curiosity, ideas. Thank you, DLD, for getting everybody together.